Hey everybody, I am live today and we're talking about the future of video commerce and video e-commerce with Bambuser, company we're going to chat with here. Sophie, how are you?
Hi, Evan. I'm great. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Thank you for having me.
So you look like you're in New York City, beautiful day today,
I
chilly
am.
as it is here in Boston, but thanks so much for joining. I'm really intrigued by this new world, new to us here in the US, of video commerce. Before we dive in, maybe introduce yourself and then who's Bambuser?
Happy to. So my name is Sophie. I'm currently running the US operations for Bambuser. I joined the company pre-COVID back in 2019, kind of believing so firmly that video was going to be the next big leap within e-commerce. So I left a background
Mm,
of head of e-com, head of digital. I've been in the retail space for more than a decade. When I pivoted into tech, I stumbled upon my current CEO. We started discussing the future of e-commerce. The possibility of using video, and I was amazed by the opportunities I saw. So I pivoted, joined Bambuser, who currently is the world leading video commerce platform. We've been around since 2019, doing specifically video commerce. We offer various solutions. So, kind of any touch point you have your online client can happen through an interactive and shoppable video stream, whether that is to the many or in a two-way kind of one-on-one conversation.
fantastic. So set the scene. Tell us about your pivot over the number of years to video commerce. Maybe a definition. What is live video shopping exactly? And where's it going in terms of the whole retail space?
Well, that was a lot of questions in one sentence. Let me see where we can start. So I think my background is in communication, then subsequently into marketing and e-commerce. And if you, like me, have spent at least a decade, if not more, trying to sell and convince people online to buy,
Mm,
you know that's extremely hard. I spent probably a decade trying to figure out how to increase that conversion from 1 to 2%, how that reduce the return rates, how to shorten the conversion funnel no matter if you are in the higher average order kind of segment or in the lower, it's always a numbers game. And the conversion wasn't that impressive.
mm,
Um, what you see when you start using interactive and shoppable video, which kind of made an entrance into the Western e-commerce space, I would say around late 2019, early 2020, and then had a boom during the pandemic, is that all of a sudden you keep your viewers and your potential shoppers for like 10 to 15 minutes. You start seeing
mm.
conversion rates up to 10%. And
Wow.
people add twice as many items to cart because all of a sudden you have this interactive, engaging way of talking to them. So I think for me, when I started looking into and realizing the potential, it was an obvious pivot to say, instead of being on one retailer side trying to make consumers more confident in making purchases, more informed in making purchases, if I have the opportunity to help build an industry, being on the other side with all my knowledge from retail and all the challenges from e-commerce, I'd rather do that part. So since 2019, I've been advocating and I've been building together with Bambuser this new industry that we call video commerce. So to your question about what is live video shopping or video commerce, I'd say that kind of speaks to the extremely fast evolving landscape we're in right now. When we went to market in 2019, we called it live shopping. It was
Mm,
primarily kind of what we are in right now. It was a live stream, very authentic, fast brands, invited maybe influencers or, high profiles. They were trying to sell things. Stores were to a large, like, very big extent closed. But then as we evolved and started learning about this medium, and as retailers realized there's so much added value to having
mm,
this video that's interactive and engaging, we kind of moved into more of a video commerce landscape. Not necessarily do you need to be live, not necessarily is it something that you have for 30 minutes and then disappears. So brands, I would say right now, when they're looking into doing video commerce, we kind of want them to think about it as a 360 holistic approach. How do you make sure that your touch points online with your consumers is to the largest extent possible interactive and shoppable? So video commerce it can be a live show, it can be a pre-recorded marketing campaign that you're making interactive and shoppable. It can be tiny little clips on your product detail on your PDPs
mm.
that gives more information about a product. It can be your clients being able to either just drop in and talk to an expert or to schedule a proper consultation. So it's become so much more than just live video shopping. Then, of course, that's kind of where the industry was born. So it's still very much a buzzword. But if you were to ask me, I would say we talk video commerce, because what we're doing is we're slowly moving e-commerce into becoming interactive video. And that's the mission we're on.
Well, fantastically interesting. And describe the sort of cultural landscape here, because live shopping, we all know, started in Asia and China in particular and became this phenomenon. And the view is here that we're going to catch up, right? We're all going to be intrigued, and that's proving to be so. If you look at least the social media channels I see, there's just a tremendous amount of interest and creativity happening with live shopping. But is this are there big cultural differences between what's happening in Asia, North America, Europe, rest of the world, for example?
I think there's something very deeply human in interactivity.
Mm,
And, when video brings this sort of human touch to any conversation that happens online, and that's universal, then I do believe there's a big difference between what we have seen over the past decade in China, where they're living in more of a one app, super app landscape,
mm,
versus this more fragmented Western way of approaching shopping and internet. I remember going to market, which was pretty fascinating. This is pre-COVID. So imagine we were not doing Zoom calls or FaceTiming to the
mm.
same extent we do today. Like sometimes it's hard to believe it's just 4 years ago, but 4 years ago, pre-pandemic, when we were starting to pitch this idea of like, why don't you use video on your e-commerce? I'm like, why would I? It works perfect the way it is. And a lot of brands and retailers, they were kind of seeing this promotion driven bargain hunting Chinese fast paced videos, right? Very full of interactions and colors, just very far away from maybe the Western way of consuming media. So our go to
Mm.
market was literally saying, but how do we take this fundamental human behavior but make it appealing to the Western consumer? And we betted on, I would say, a segment that very few people were thinking of was kind of approachable for video. So we said, what about all these like premium brands and the luxury segment or the complicated sales? I spent a lot of years within more premium segments in e-commerce, where conversion funnels can be between 2 to 3 weeks. All the
Mm.
information you need to make a purchase for, I don't know, $1,000 or $10,000 versus buying something for 40. And we realized that what if we can take that consumer interaction and give them all the information they need, so we can shorten that conversion from maybe 2 weeks to 2 hours or even within the show. So the go to market was very much, you as a brand that have a highly complex or very expensive product that needs a lot of consultation information, this is a great way for you to connect with your consumers. That, of course, came with a white label, with a way of owning that on your .com, on your website. So the go-to-market showed us very early on that we are going towards video, but it doesn't have to mirror what we're seeing over in the Asian countries. Then, as this landscape has evolved, we have gone from, on our platform, we see everything from these high-end brands doing multiple camera productions, proper studio setups, to brands going very much authentic with a smartphone live streaming. So it really depends on the target audience and the brand. But it's definitely taking, to the same extent, we are a fragmented online landscape in the West. Our video commerce is very fragmented. It just mirrors the behaviors, right?
Makes sense. So your platform is a SaaS platform, cloud platform. Describe some of the tech innovation behind that. There must be a lot of magic to make this happen, as it's pretty complex delivering and engaging
It's a
with live
lot of magic. It's a
video.
lot of magic. I would say the foundation of this company actually dates back to 2007, when the founders invented a way of streaming from one smartphone, like one cell phone with one SIM card. And this might seem like, I don't know, something you have a hard time even relating to now in 2023. But back in 2007, this was pre iPhone. It was, I think, year ahead of Facebook. This was something really big. And for the longest time in media, to stream live meant having multiple SIM cards and multiple devices, or having these backpacks or these huge trucks, because it was about how you were formatting and transmitting all these, little tiny bits of video. as soon as the Bambuser team understood how to make this happen with the smallest data packages and transmit them so that one smartphone could transmit to our platform and our platform could retransmit within a few seconds and repackage to be received by other smartphones, we had found our magic formula. And that's kind of the base of the streaming tech that still today is our core technology. What we did back in 2019 was that we pivoted and said, but instead of just having this being for streaming, because back then we had journalists and media, we were extremely useful for journalists from all over the world in all the weirdest places reporting when they had, maybe not the ideal network conditions. And we said, but what if we take this technology, we make an app that resembles any social media streaming app, and we just give into the hand of the retailers. And that's what we did in 2019. So currently our SaaS platform consists of the backbone of the streaming. We host, we stream, we store the data. We offload the retailers from the video load. We give them we call them the BAM hub, but it's basically a back office where you construct your shows, set them up, you see your stats, you manage everything you need to do behind the scenes. And then you have an app from which you can broadcast. That's literally what we're selling. The magic, I would say, sits somewhere in between having a proprietary streaming technology that enables most brands to go live just on one smartphone and make it look like television.
Yes, sort of like now. It looks like television.
Exactly.
So you have one-to-many and then one-to-one style engagement. How does that work exactly?
Well, coming back to the super rapid evolution of this space, and we went to
Mhm.
market, we kind of had this idea that brands needed to reach the masses. We were to a large extent in lockdown. A lot of stores were closed, but still the brands had these communities. They wanted to stay in touch, keep up the loyalty, and they broadcasted to the many. A couple of months in, or pretty early in, we realized the brands do also have a necessity to connect with one-to-one with their consumers. Imagine you're buying a refrigerator or a very expensive appliance for your home, or I don't know, a skin regimen, and you want
Mm.
an expert to sit down with you and explain, well, Sophie, these are the
Ah,
serums you're supposed to use. So we broadened the product suite by adding what we call the one-to-one. So coming back to then, we went from being live shopping into becoming video commerce, because now whatever interaction that can lead to a purchase with your online consumer on your website, we can power. And it's either the one-to-many or the one-to-one.
fantastic. One challenge you must face is with big brands, they have so much legacy systems and IT and payment ecosystems. How do you approach that and having to integrate into all of that back office legacy that's out there today?
Well, I would say that's another part of the magic.
Hmm.
We are pretty easy. We don't require a heavy backend integration. Our platform is literally scraping the information that we need to populate product cards within your shows. So to go live and get started, I would say the heavy lifting is rather on the side of content creation, but from a tech stack perspective, we're more or less an embed of an iframe.
Mm,
So we customize together with the clients to make sure that we mirror the customer experience they want to have on their website. So we look native to their website. We help them embed it, make sure it runs smoothly. And during the show, when a retailer wants to highlight a product, they copy paste the product URL. We'll go there, we scrape the information, we repopulate the product card, and in the show it will appear. At the moment a client then adds it to cart and wants to proceed to checkout, we redirect them, keeping what's in the cart into the native cart. So the purchase still happens on the actual retailer website. So what we're more like of an overlay that adds this interactivity and this engagement, but the transaction and the purchase happens still in the native cart. So I would say that's a non-issue, the legacy tech platform. We're platform agnostic. We work from everything from
mm.
WooCommerce to Shopify to Salesforce. It doesn't really matter.
Oh, great. It sounds fascinating. Um, Describe some of your favorite shows. I think you probably work with large brands and smaller brands. What's some of the scale and reach that you see your clients getting with some of the live shows? I don't know if you could talk about minutes or views or how you describe that.
It's such a fascinating landscape. We kind of live and breathe this video commerce, and we've done it for the last 4 years. So there's my head is full of example and ideas. Before showing some examples, I think it's fascinating or good to understand that we usually see two like main categories of shows. One is the more like educational show
Mm,
that's run towards an audience that needs more information to make a purchase. It's usually run by in-house experts or people that are somewhat an expert within a field. And the other one is those shows that are more of a aspirational entertainment kind of show. They're
mm.
usually promotion driven or event exclusive driven, and they might have celebrities or creators are running them. So it's kind of two ways of running live shows. I would say it's extremely fascinating to see how fashion brands, for example, during Fashion Week last year, Bloomingdale's ran their large gala with Harper's Bazaar. They ran it here in New York. The entire red carpet was filmed, was streamed as a Bambuser live show, and every single outfit was available for purchase on their
Oh,
website.
wow.
That's like when you go really glam, when you do what I think a lot of women like me have wished for a long time. You're watching a red carpet, and if you want to understand if you can afford or if that specific outfit could make it for you, you can actually explore it in real time. That's
Oh,
one
wow.
really, I would say, high profile, cool use case. Other cases I think is really fascinating. We have for example, a brand over in the UK called Pi Skincare. They use live streams where experts and founders talk about all the skin regimen and the products you can use. And when you're on a specific little PDP, maybe you're looking at a night cream, you can see a part of that show popping up saying, this is when we talk about this specific product. So
Mm.
instead of just navigating and trying to figure out my night cream, I can jump into a live show and I can learn things about that specific. Um, and then, we're a white label solution for a reason. You probably have come across a bunch of our shows, but you won't know because it won't say Bambuser. So I cannot really disclose some of my
Sure.
favorite shows because I don't speak on behalf of my clients. But I think what's really fascinating is the KPIs and the stats. In average right now, I think we double the cart size, the average order value. In a video commerce show, let's say your average cart online is $100. If you're doing a great show, doing a good job with your host and your promotions, the average cart for that show will be 200. In average, ballpark 30 to 32% of all the viewers in your show are adding something to cart. That's a third of everyone's watching is adding something to cart. Then the actual conversion is around, I say, 8 to 10%. That's still like 10xing the old school conversion rates of an e-commerce site, and that we see across the board. Then of course it comes down to promotions, the quality of the live show, the relevance, and who you're hosting and how you're distributing it. But there's just something fundamentally appealing to human beings when there's a social context, there's something engaging, and you can get a better understanding, and so you see great add to cart and engagement.
Fantastic. Well, maybe I should get into live streaming and live shopping. I have some
You can start
headphones here I can sell.
if you can host a podcast, you can definitely start live streaming and selling.
Yeah, I mean, I get 2 or 3 million reach, so maybe I need to think about monetization. But in all seriousness, let's get back on track here. You're headquartered in Sweden. You have a pretty diverse and multinational team. Maybe give us a peek behind the curtain on the team and the culture and the folks.
Thank you for asking that question. We're very proud of the team. We're headquartered in Stockholm. We have our R&D and our kind of European markets run from Europe, and then we have a local team here in the US running the Americas. I think from the start, our CEO Mariam and myself and our president of EMEA is a woman. We have I would say we're a female-led tech company, which strange enough in 2023 is still a thing. We have a very diverse workforce. I think we speak more than 40 languages across the company.
Wow.
And we are committed to building that kind of tech company that wasn't really around 20 years ago when I started my career, which is if you have a tech company, I'm a big believer in representation. What you see, you believe you can do, right? So if you are a minority and you see someone that you can relate to in a position where you would like to be, you all of a sudden think, oh, maybe that could be me. So hopefully by having a lot of nationalities, being present in multiple locations, and having a lot of female leaders, all these people can be, a lot of young women and a lot of minorities can think, okay, if they can, then I can. And that's as big of a contribution, I think, to the tech space as our tech stack itself. It's showing that running a tech company can be done from Europe with a majority of women as well.
Oh, fantastic. Well, cheers to that. So tell us a little bit about the future, the near term, medium term. What's next? Are we going to be shopping with our AR glasses or our Apple Pro Vision, or what are some of the trends and opportunities you see over the next couple years?
Well, I think we're definitely going to go from having the static e-commerce experience to this interactive one. I
Hmm.
personally, and given where I my outlook comes from, I think video will be the backbone of most shopping experiences happening online, and then we'll like tap into all kinds of virtual reality, augmented reality. We will have a lot of AI generated content, probably a lot of AI powered like optimizations in the whole customer and shopping journey. But I also think we're going to see a big revamp of the physical stores and kind of like
Hmm.
the omni-channel 2.0. We spoke about omni-channel in the like early 2000s. So we've seen a fall in foot traffic on physical stores. We have seen an uplift in e-commerce. We're starting to use technologies to kind of mirror the in-store behavior, but we're doing them online. But still, we have the real estate, we have the physical people in the stores, we have this human need to connect. So I think a lot of what we will see in the upcoming years is a way of bridging the physical and the digital spaces. So how can you run events maybe in one store and distribute and stream them and make them interactive in other
Mm.
locations? How can VR and AR enable you to have certain experiences both online and in a store? That's for sure. I also think we will see, not to go back to your reference to Asia, but I do think we will see a new category of call them shop assistants or sellers. I think there will be, to the same extent we went from Instagrammers to YouTubers to TikTokers. I do think there will be a new category of, let's call them creators, that will be extremely well versed in selling through video.
Well, fantastically interesting to watch. What are you looking forward to the rest of this year into early next? I imagine you have a busy agenda
No, we're
planned.
just entering holiday season, so this is definitely a busy season, making sure that our clients are getting all the support they need, that we're maximizing and monetizing from this season, given that we are a tech retail company. And then as we enter 2024, I hope to see you at NRF in New York. That would be
Yeah,
great
that
to
would be,
connect.
it's
A lot
always
of
a fascinating
activations coming up.
place.
Yeah. And then, I mean, we are going to reveal a couple of cool things in our roadmap with our product. But just, I would say overall, just continuing to bridge between online and offline and how to make this holistic video experience with your consumers online, whether that is in a one-on-one conversation, or if it's a stream to the many, or if it's a stream that's protected and more exclusive to few selected viewers. I think that's the space where we will thrive and come up with some cool ideas.
Wonderful. Well, wonderful opportunities for brands and people alike. So congratulations on all the success, and thanks so much for sharing, just your vision and all the insights. Really interesting. And thanks everyone for watching. Reach out to Sophie and the team with any questions or comments on social media.
Well, thank you so much for having me and letting me share something about what we're doing here at Bambuser and what's coming up.
All right. Thanks so much. Thanks everyone.